CF 100 times in the chat below. That was fire, Cody. Cody Fuller, that was tremendous. The detail, the poise, the focus. It sounds like you've said it a few times, right?
A few times.
A lot of skill in the home, a lot of refinement. People are like, you sound so comforting. Like, I'm like, yes, he said it a bunch of times. That's the thing. Grady Polson here, Family First Life America. Excited to be on here with Cody Fuller, protecting 40 plus families a month virtually now. Started in the field, sharpened his sword, turned it into a javelin. Now it's a tank. He runs around town just knocking down production, as well as he's leading a team of 500 families. He's going to dig into his script, what he says to sell at the significantly high level he does. But before that, Cody, I would ask you for a commercial. Could you give we'll call it a commercial, or just your perspective on convention? What is your perspective? We've got this coming up in a few months, our annual convention. And I'd love if you'd touch on it. Any advice or insight you've gleaned from attending it before we jump into your script?
Yeah. If you're joining this and, you're coming into this industry and you want to level up, or you've been here and you want to level up, the only way to do that is to get around like-minded people. And you're going to meet so many people at convention, and it allows you to put a face to the name, right? And you meet them and you realize these are just normal people. There's nothing special about them. And if you're in a position right now that you don't want to be in, then you have to level up, and you're going to have to invest in yourself, right? And FFL provides such a great convention, and it's free. Right? It is absolutely free. You're going to learn so much there, and you're going to make so many contacts. If you truly want to invest in yourself, then you'll go to convention. There's zero reason to not to. It's a non-negotiable for me.
I couldn't agree more. To have an opportunity to learn from great business minds, as well as the great minds inside of our own company in one space. I'll tell you, every convention I've gone to, which is everyone, I've never missed a convention in any business, regardless of them being MLMs, before I found out that I don't want to sell lotions and potions to my Aunt Judy anymore. And I found a real business like insurance. I've never missed a convention or an event where there'll be a collection of people doing better than me that were going to, for free, give me information on how I could get as good as them. And that's what this is. This is an opportunity. FFLconvention.com. Go there, learn about where it is. It's at our Lone Depot Park, where the Miami Marlins baseball stadium plays. We've rented out a baseball stadium. It's going to cost us nearly $10 million as a company expense. And we cover that for free for you to just come and learn how to get better. So Cody will be there. If you like his training, come up and find him, shake hands. I'll be there. And 10,000 to 20,000 other agents who are excited about their future like you will be there also. So without further ado, Mr. Fuller, you've sharpened all of the tools in the tool shed in the field. And it's recently, maybe we can talk about what, when you finally made the transition, but now you've refined a phone, and just let's talk about what you do to make sales on the phone, and what those word tracks are, how you set it up, and the Cody Fuller script. We're going to coin it.
Okay. So where do you want me to start at, Grady?
Start at first, when you transitioned. Just, you kind of touched it on part one. Now we're on part two. But what all of a sudden did you go, I'm fully virtual now?
Well, I think it boiled down to being able to help agents and answer the phone for agents and train agents in person. And it was like, I didn't want to come out of the field.
Yeah.
I didn't. I fought it for a long time. And there's several people that tell you that. Like, I called him for like 2 months and was like, because sometimes I would miss a call and not realize it while I was in the home from a new agent, things like that. And the office was growing, right? So it really came from growth, right? But, you know, because we do virtual now, right? I can be here and sell, right? So I can do both. And I also have my door open in my office. And there's a lot of agents that's, you know, watched me sell a lot of policies, like right face to face, like in person. They've watched me do it, you know? And I think that was a big reason why I made the transition. But it was not easy. And then also too, it was completely new to me and I wanted to do it at the same level that I was doing out in the field. So I I went back to training, you know, like completely training, went back to the basics. You know, I tuned into a lot of Ryan Reynolds stuff, a lot of Mike Curry stuff, because they were doing it. And I just became obsessed with the training for a couple weeks on the times that I had at night and things like that. And then finally I ripped the Band-Aid off and just let it fly.
I love it. So this is an opportunity to humble brag for yourself, but, and I love what you're saying. Like it was all new. It was like I went back to school again, right? Because you get to a point of in-person sales where, I mean, let's say 10 appointments you're sitting down with, how many would you close?
If sitting with 10,
You're sitting, you know, at your peak of production when you're rolling,
8,
sitting with 10, and how many would you close?
8,
80%, right? Yeah. You just get to a
80%
point
close.
where they can't get, you've got all the answers. And now, which is very comforting, right? For someone who's staring at this and going, I'm terrified. Well, listen, you're going to get good. Right now, we need you to close 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10 if you're trying, but you will get all the way to 8 out of 10. And imagine the ROI on your lead investment when you're protecting 8 out of 10 instead of 2 to 3 out of 10. So just appreciate you sharing that. And then, which is also kind of makes going virtual more fun because you're like, okay, I get to get humbled a little bit. I thought I was the big man around town. And now it's suddenly like, I can't come. I got these kids on here on the top of the leaderboard. And I'm like, what's Jay Masca saying? Like, what are these kids saying? Like, and now all of a sudden you're like, okay, I see what they're doing. Okay, I need to change a little bit. I need to change, you know, this is got a certain control. So I'm not the one to coach. You're the one to coach. I'd love it if you now would run into, how do you sell insurance virtually?
The most important thing is structure. It's just different, you know, but structure, right? So if I do a lot of live transfers,
Okay.
I love live transfers. That's just me. Like I love them. I always went back to how much did it cost me to sit at a kitchen table, and what does a live transfer call me where it's a warm transfer and somebody wants to talk about life insurance. I'd done it long enough that I liked my chances if somebody wanted to talk about life insurance
Sure.
on being able to protect that family. Does that make sense? You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Right. So I looked at it like that. The other thing is not being able to, or not being afraid to invest in leads. Like you got to invest in leads if, you know, especially for me, you're right. Coming out of the field, that was so uncomfortable to learn it, but I knew for growth, I needed to do it. Right. So I made the decision to do it. So I did, you know, but the structure was simple. It was no different than like a phone script structure. You have the, hey, you, this is me. This is why I'm calling. So, and then you have the bring them back to why they filled the form out. Then you have the clear the schedule, and then you go in for the close, right? There's a lot of scripts out there, but they all have that structure.
Yeah.
So on the phone, when you're closing somebody, it's the same way as I did the in-home. Paul McLean, like if I knew we were doing final expense, Paul McLean's 8 steps to final expense, I just did it over the phone. And I would write it out while I'm on the phone with them the same way that I did it in person. And I was just real with them. And I still am. I earlier today, I closed one in here. And I'm just real with people the same way that I was. And I try to let that come out over the phone as much as possible. In any time that I got pushback, I would go back to the 8 steps and I would start wherever I got the pushback and just keep rolling through. And then the biggest thing, like I hear people like Josh Williams always saying, like asking for the sell. So at the end, I would ask for the sell. If I got a lot of pushback or whatever it was at the end, I would ask for the sell. And then I was just, I was so surprised. Like it just happened. Like it happened. I was closing policies and helping families, but it was just the structure. And I can't say that it's anything different than what I did in the home. Like, hey, hey, my name's
Yeah.
Cody. Like I
Yeah,
said,
just run through it
I'm a
just so
local.
we can time people are going to timestamp it in the comments and go, he starts his script at this minute, and we want them to be able to hear what you're saying. If you need to pull it up, just have something to reference. I'd love if you would, you know, want the Cody Fuller script to go viral.
Yeah. So you want me to start from the beginning of my
Yeah. Yeah,
script?
just like we're brand just and I wouldn't do live transfer only because that's not a common open, right? But it's
Yeah.
more so a lead open.
So I'll do it like uh, I'll do it like I booked an appointment with you, if that
Perfect.
makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yep. So, hey, Grady, it's Cody. I was giving you a call back about the life insurance we spoke earlier on the phone. Hey, Grady, real quick, do you got, you have 15, 20 minutes to go over this, right? Are you home? Okay. You're home. Can you do me a favor real quick before we get started? I'm going to quickly text you over a picture of my license, right? That shows that I'm licensed in the state to be able to help you, just so you feel comfortable with me. But I need you to grab a pen and paper. Can you grab a pen and paper for me real quick? Okay, you got your pen and paper. Hey, so, briefly, like we talked over the phone before, we got to this. Um, you told me that you were looking, you filled the form out because you were looking to protect your wife. If something happened to you, you wanted to make sure that, your final expenses were covered. We're still on track for that, right? That's what you're looking to do. Okay, perfect. That's probably why 90% of people fill those forms out, right? But there's two other reasons. The other reason would be income replacement. So sometimes a spouse wants to make sure that not only they take care of those final expenses, but they also provide a little bit of additional income if their budget allows for it. And then the last reason why I end up speaking to people is more of like a legacy. So let's say your grandson has, you want to cover your final expenses, but your grandson has a welding company and you want to leave an extra $10,000 for him, so that gives him a little bump in his business. That's pretty normal. So out of those three, your final expenses, income replacement, and legacy, which one of those best suits your situation? Final expense. Okay, perfect. So real quick, can I just get your spouse's name? What's your wife's name? Donna. Okay. And then, okay. So Donna, now let me ask you this. Is Donna working, retired, or disabled? Okay. So she's retired. You're both retired. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So the biggest thing that I want to make sure that we accomplish here today is, number one, affordability and sustainability. So like I told you before, I'm a broker. I work with 40 different companies. My job is to shop around and realistically, Grady, find what you qualify for. Quotes are just quotes. Okay. I'm not here to sell you a dream, try to get you more insurance than what you need. I'm not here to hurt you, Grady. What I am here to do is I am here to make sure that when you do pass away, that Donna doesn't have to worry about your final expenses. That's number one. And then also to make sure that we cover all the bases and make sure that's all the coverage that you need. And then it's got to be sustainable. So if your dishwasher breaks down next week, Grady, you're not canceling this policy, right? In order to pay the repairman to come fix your dishwasher. Does that make sense, Grady? You follow me with that, right? So affordability and sustainability. Remember that, because I'm going to come back to that a couple of times. All right. And the next thing is, a lot of what I do, Grady, is just provide knowledge and understanding for people. I ask me any question while we're here, obviously, but let me ask you this. Do you know the difference between term and whole life? No, you don't. Okay. So term's like renting a house, right? If you got to give the keys back at the end. And a lot of times younger people will get term to cover a large amount of coverage because they're younger, they have kids, they're married, they still have kids in the house. They have two incomes coming in. They're not on fixed income at that time. But it has an expiration date. Okay. Whole life is like owning a house, Grady. And owning the house means that you're going to have it forever. You build equity, right? And a lot of people at your age, because I got here, right, that you're 71, a lot of people at your age, right, if they're trying to cover final expenses, it's not term that they're looking for, it's whole life, right? So if you have any questions about those right now, go ahead and hit me with them so we can talk about that. I just want to make sure that you fully understand what we're going over. You don't have any questions? Okay, perfect. So the other thing is me explaining this process. So getting the final expense coverage, Grady, is not like going and getting your home and auto. It's not like, just going to the store and purchasing something. I can't just sell you anything, right? You have to qualify for it. And it's based off of age and health. Now, like I said, I'm not here to hurt you, Grady. I'm here to help you and find something affordable and sustainable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you 2 to 3 minutes of health questions, Grady. And then I'm going to ask you 2 to 3 minutes of financial questions. Now, a lot of people ask me, why are you asking the financial questions? Well, Grady, I like to sleep at night. I like to lay my head down and go to sleep at night. So even if you wanted $1 million worth of coverage, if I don't think it fits in your budget, I'm not your guy. You're going to have to talk to somebody else. If you want to pay $1,000 a month, but I don't think there's $1,000 a month there in the budget, and it's going to take food off of yours and Donna's table, I'm just not your guy, Grady. Okay. So I'm going to ask these questions real quick, and then it's going to narrow down these 40 companies that I talked about earlier. All right, Grady. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the one that best fits you for your financial situation, right? And then we're going to take a look at a couple options. Now, we can't make the decision today, okay? You're going to have to choose one of the options, and then we're going to submit an application for coverage today, all right? And we're going to send it off to the insurance carrier. One of two things is going to happen, Grady. Either you're going to get accepted, and then that's either good or bad, because then if you're accepted, you're stuck with me for life, or you're going to get declined. And Grady, if you get declined, that's perfectly fine. I have other carriers that's right in that realm. I'm just trying to start with the best. Okay. Do you have any questions following that before we move forward? No, you don't have any questions? Perfect. And I literally pull out a financial inventory sheet and lay it down and do it just like I did in the home. And then I actually do break down their budget. So I break down the budget of, okay, your rent's $800 a month. Gotcha. You got any car payments? Okay. So you and Donna both together have $5,000 worth of income. You're paying $800 for rent. You got $400 total in car payments. Your utilities are $500. You've got X amount left. Now, let me ask you this. What do you do for hobbies? So you golf. How much do you think you spend a month on golf? Perfect. Gotcha. And then I break down that budget, right? And then I say, so do you still have that pen and paper that you've been writing all this stuff down? Yep. Hey, Grady, go ahead and flip that over for me real quick. So I'm going to show you two packages. I'm going to show you the gold package, and I'm going to show you the silver package. Okay. So the gold package, I want you to write in big letters. I want you to write 25,000. Write that out. Tell me when you got that done. Okay. You got that done? Perfect. Now underneath, I want you to draw a line underneath that. And underneath that, I want you to write, $142 a month. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Now what I want you to do is beside that, I want you to write 15,000. Okay. And I want you to write $89 underneath that, same way you did. Now take a look at those two, and per your budget, because we just went over it, right? Which one of those would you be most comfortable with qualifying for today? And then shut up. Shut up. Don't say nothing. Let them go. They're going to pick one, or they're going to give you whatever objection, right? So they pick one. Hey, perfect. Can you go ahead and grab your driver's license for me real quick, so the insurance carrier that we apply for is going to be able to properly identify you? And then boom, I'm writing the application.
CF 100 times in the chat below. That was fire, Cody. Cody Fuller, that was tremendous. The detail, the poise, the focus. It sounds like you've said it a few times, right?
A few times.
A lot of skill in the home, a lot of refinement. People are like, you know, you sound so comforting. Like, I'm like, yes, he said it a bunch of times. That's the thing. Time under pressure, shots to the ribs with the baseballs, you know, the getting hit, getting walked. I mean, you've had so many at bats that then you come to virtual and you're like, I'm just going to say the same thing over and over, but I can say it faster because I can call instance and I call instance beneficiary and I can set up real-time leads and I can text age final expense. And I can text age mortgage and I can get live transfers. I can be on the phone for 8 hours and I can protect 10 families in a day. And I didn't have to leave this cozy chair I got from Amazon. Like the fascinating part of the life that you all want lives on the end of commitment and time under pressure and stress. And at the end, you blossom into this oak tree that anyone can rely on and hammer a nail into and hang their swing from. That went off to the side, but like, Cody, that was so good, bro. That was so good. Me watching you do that, like, gave me goosebumps of sitting with clients and helping them understand the magic and the power and the value of life insurance. Because that
Paul McLean's.
How fun is it to do it now, though, and know I can't see them, but I know I'm making a difference, and I know I've developed these word tracks that are going to help them make decisions to improve their life.
Yeah, Paul McLean's 8 steps. I'm telling you, it's a non-negotiable when I train agents. Paul McLean's 8 steps. You know, I've said it a couple of times. I don't know. I mean, I get there's 1,000 different ways to do this business. I actually texted you this the other day. Like, this is what I do. Like, here it is. Here's the leads. Here's the script. Here's how we're going to dial them. Paul McLean's 8 steps, financial inventory sheet, pick the phone up and call me. Like that, breaking it down Barney style. But those Paul McLean's 8 steps, I swear by them, you know, and it's what taught me and it's what I'm comfortable with and what I'm familiar with. And you're right. I have done it a lot, you know, and I would encourage you to get as many presentations as you possibly can under your belt so that you are that comfortable just going over it. Because I had written that out in the home so many times in front of Bob and Mary that just saying that right now, like, I visualized me writing that on a piece of paper. Like writing it down while I'm right in front of them, right? And I could probably rehearse it in my sleep, but it gives me confidence. You know, it gives me confidence, you know, and to me, the most important part is letting them know we are going to submit an application for coverage today. And if you're becoming a quote person or a quote agent in the home, or over the phone, that's really like, you got to set proper expectations whenever you're running your appointment, because you won't get the quote mentality if you do set those proper expectations up front.
Awesome, bro. Cody, thank you for your time today. Any final advice you have to new again agents out there that are on the cusp of taking real action at this business, of focused dialing action? Any final advice as we send them off? Final words from Cody Fuller.
There is so much content out there that you have no reason not to win, right? There's so much content out there, but what I'm going to encourage, especially if you're new, pick a style, pick a person that you relate to, use their script, use the lead, like whatever leads they're using, however they're dialing them, their script, and stick to it. Because you can't hop around from different styles constantly and never catch your footing. So if you're a brand new agent, have the discipline to remain structured. Have the discipline to remain structured and put your best foot forward. That's the best advice that I could give.
Awesome, brother. Well, I appreciate you. Appreciate your time. Can't wait to see you in Miami, and keep crushing them, man. And to all of you out there, thank you for your time. Drop a 5 in the comments below just to give Cody a high 5 and thank him for his time today and his heartfelt passion and his detailed discipline. That is detailed script, which has taken him discipline to develop. But Cody, appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much for your time and keep crushing out there, man. Proud to be in business.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Talk soon. Bye for now.